Now we got to get down with the get down. Ariana is proud to be a home wrecker.
Oh my God!
It is unbelievable what a lot of these women are on nowadays. Now, she has a new song that came out called Yes And, basically responding to all the criticism of people saying that, you know, you're being a bad person. You broke up this man's home. You went out, filmed a show, and excuse me, one of your co-stars you took a liking to, and that same co-star, he was married, and now you two are together, and their family is in shambles. You should feel very proud of yourself. Nah, you shouldn't.
Bruh.
Now, she has, we're just going to read some of these lyrics really quickly before we get into what we really want to talk about. But before we do that, I'm going to give you my first sip. So, true freedom requires constraint. And that's important because,
Question.
and that question is, are women taking liberation too far?
Absolutely.
Like this
Yes.
whole movement of, oh, I'm liberated, I'm free.
Yeah, because overall, technically, you're not really free because you've found yourself in situations like wrecking a home, or you found yourself mentally not able to have conversations or be on a date because you're so sexually liberated. It's just no.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
terrible. No.
I completely agree. I mean, they're bound by what they're doing. I mean, the word talks about this being bound by sin, and it's the same thing. It's definitely not freedom. It's not liberation. You are bound by this thing where you are now simply your base desires, whether that's your attraction towards power or your problem with lust. Like, these things are being amplified and you can't control it. And now, as you act on these things, you are affecting other people's lives.
Which is sin. Like, as you said. Wow.
No, yeah, that's very well said. Let's look at some of these lyrics here and blow it up. So it says, in case you haven't noticed, well, everybody's tired and healing from somebody or something we don't see just right. Well, let me think about this because I
That's
don't think
interesting.
everybody
That's
is healing
interesting.
from something.
Nah, I don't agree
I
with that.
understand you have a long history of stuff of like just different partners and different situations, and I don't know what's gone on in her personal life, but everybody's not healing from somebody.
No.
Now, we all have different relationships that, sour over time,
Right.
but that doesn't mean we have to necessarily, we went through some traumatic experience, or relationships that just fizzle out over time. That's just a natural course of how relationships can, take its, or how the relationship runs. But to say that, everybody's healing from somebody is kind of a ridiculous
Yeah.
notion to begin with. And it's a form of projection, which is the same thing that they try to say that we do. They're just projecting onto us. But you in your own song are saying, no, everybody's healing. It's like, no, maybe that's just you.
Yeah, and the fact that it's interesting because since I know what the song is about and I'm looking at those first few lines about healing, it's like you're trying to make an excuse for your actions by saying, oh, I did all this because I'm healing, or
I'm not perfect, so it's okay
yeah,
for me to do it.
exactly. Yes.
No, yeah, that was good. I like that. All right. So pre-chorus, boy, come on, put your lipstick on. No one can tell you nothing. Come on and walk this way. That's like that. Walk this way. Y'all don't know nothing about that. Through the fire, don't care what's on their mind. And if you find yourself in a dark situation, just turn on your light and be like, oh, but I mean, if you're in a dark situation,
Yes, and
I didn't know if you were in a dark situation, you could just turn on your light. It's like, well, you wouldn't be in a dark situation if your light was just always on.
that makes me think of, when you call, or not call out, but you hold someone accountable and then they're like, well, I'm a good person. Even though I made this terrible decision, I'm still a great person. That's
Yeah.
kind of what that line makes me think of.
Yeah. All right. So getting into the chorus. Yes, and say it that S with your chest, and be your own effing best friend. Say that S with your chest. keep moving like what's next. Yes, and so be your own best friend. I mean, it's just like, oh, screw the world, screw everybody, screw,
People
all
in
those
your
guys,
life. Yeah.
essentially.
Right.
Be your own best friend. And it's like, to a degree, yes, you need to have some self-respect. You need to treat yourself in the manner in which you treat others, because ultimately how you treat yourself bleeds over into how you treat others.
Absolutely. But in this context, she doesn't mean that. And a
No,
lot of
not at
people
all.
will take
Yeah.
it in the way of be your own best friend. Oh, I don't need anybody else.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
follow my own desires. I follow my own heart.
I
I
am
give
my
into
own
my
God.
carnal desires.
Yeah, and how I see it, that line is be your own best friend is like, okay, so what if your real life best friend is telling you, hey, you shouldn't be doing this? It's like, oh, disregard them and just continue doing your own thing.
Exactly.
Yeah, because when you constantly only listen to your desires and what you want, and you never seek out wise counsel, and you never work on improving people, or not improving people, but improving yourself by taking in information from other people's experiences before you have to go through it yourself, then you're in self-destructive mode, right? Because nobody has all of the answers.
Exactly.
And that's why you should always be, reading books and stuff. But do you say it with your chest? I'll say this with my chest. You need to get some help. And generally, I think she's a phenomenal singer, and she's actually put out, quite a few songs that are, pretty good. But the messages in some of the songs, especially over the last 4 or 5 years, terrible.
They have been
Terrible.
There's a huge shift because I used to love Ariana Grande when she first came out because she was Cat Valentine for me because she played Cat on Victorious.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
And that was my show, and I loved Cat. And so when she became Ariana Grande separate from that, I was like, oh my God, she's putting out music. I love her voice, yes. And her first few albums, good messaging overall, voice amplified on it and everything. But like you said, the past couple of years, I would say, past few albums, they're very sexually charged. And I just thought, okay, maybe, industry's telling her to kind of do that. All right. But the shift in her personality is evident as well.
But
Yeah.
also,
And
when you're a pop star, you have to do what sells.
Exactly.
Like, you go to your A&Rs and the people who are responsible for pushing out the music. You might have made like a really good song that's deep about maybe your life experience, and you play it for them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, great song. Yep, put that in the vault because that's never going out."
Yeah.
Because people aren't going to like it. And the reality is, people probably would. It may take a little bit longer for them to catch on, but good music is good music.
Yeah.
And it will age as such. It will age like a classic. But immediately, they won't get that immediate return on whatever the biggest box offer numbers right out the gate, which is, what they are always looking for when they run the numbers. So, I mean, that's the bigger problem. I'm going to try to pull up this clip of, how Ariana's essentially just gone down and through all these different partners and how they've overlapped with other people having partners. Let's see if this will play, because I didn't cue up the... Okay, I got no sound. Okay, whatever. We'll move on to the next thing. So my next question is, because one of the big things that a lot of feminists are pushing is that having an affair is actually a form of self-care. That didn't know they were writing bars like that. I might have to get some of these feminists in the studio and come lay a verse or something. I might have to check them on their content, but they're coming
No,
up with
they're not
taglines
welcome
like
here.
that. Okay. You said they're not welcome here?
No.
No, they'll just send it over the computer. They'll never
Okay.
step foot. Yeah.
That's funny because, people use witty lines like that as their Bible, essentially. Think about how many quotes you see randomly going around on Instagram, TikTok, whatever. If it sounds good, that is my
It's
new
stuck.
philosophy.
Yep, it's in my bio now.
Yep, exactly. That is my philosophy. Like the whole make money, not friends. Oh, that
Yes,
sounds good. That's my
yes.
philosophy.
MOB.
Yep, exactly.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's not surprising that the feminists found a way to take a destructive concept like this and twist it for their narrative to make it their own. I'm not surprised by that at all. And then on top of that, they made it sound catchy. So if it's catchy, it's going to catch on.
Exactly.
Oh, I like that. That was a bar. That was quality.
I just did it
That's a
myself.
quotable right
New
there.
philosophy.
There you go. So it says, this is a Bustle article, when having an affair is an act of self-care. And so I wanted to get to a specific part. It was down here. It says, let's see. Okay. Is it pushing it too far to say that having an affair can be self-care? Nope. Not at all. Look at it right here, people. Nope. Not at all. We literally have a whole episode on whether or not having an affair is the new goop. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
It doesn't
So-
matter how.
Sorry. So you have a whole episode.
Promoting. Yeah, go have an affair, girl. If you need it.
Do it for you.
That's terrible.
Do what serves you.
That's
Yeah.
terrible.
That's
so selfish. That's so selfish. If you want to have an affair, break up with your boyfriend. Break up with your fiance. If you're married, you can't. I'm sorry.
I can't believe
you
this
can't
even needs to be
leave.
said. I can't believe this even needs a conversation on how wrong that it is. Like, I can't believe there are thought pieces promoting this. That is
Just
wild.
so matter of fact. No, not at all.
Yeah. No,
Totally
not at
okay.
all. It's definitely okay. If you want to do it, if it serves you, they love to say that, then it's fine. It's all good. Oh, but if your man does it, oh, he got to go.
Right.
Go ahead and get him. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. Do they expect like their man to be able to stay?
Right. What if that's their self-care? What if them cheating is their self-care? Things like this, I really have no comment on because it's so utterly ridiculous to,
Out of left field,
to comprehend that we're really,
thinking that's okay.
we're really in this type of culture right now. I
That's
never
wild.
thought I would see it. Like,
And it's only going to get worse.
it's only going to get worse. Ariana, I don't know what you're going through.
So it
but-
says, we talk to women who say it is. This is what they do for themselves. They don't get a massage. They don't do yoga. They have an affair. What in God's name does that even mean? Oh, I'm not.
I'm feeling
those
stressed
don't
today.
even.
Let me go
those
cheat
don't
on my
even
man.
remotely
Yeah.
relate to each other.
Not at all.
Oh, I don't go to yoga.
It's
I
just-
don't go get a massage, which are, activities that you do. Oh, the activity that I do is I cheat on my husband.
The thing about it,
That is unbelievable.
it is. We live in a culture where whatever makes you happy takes precedence over everything.
Yeah.
And so if that makes you happy, go do it. Is essentially what she's saying.
But real
Because it doesn't matter who it affects though, because it doesn't make you happy.
Yeah.
But does
If
that
it makes you happy, it's fine.
but does that really truly make you happy
Absolutely
to to know that you have cheated on your partner, the person that you said you would be faithful to? And I get
doesn't
it that
matter.
men
Yeah.
have the stigma that men can cheat and get away with it and whatever. That's not the point. Like, the point is, if you're with a good person and y'all have made vows to each other, and then you actively go choose to step out on the arrangement that y'all have, you're a scumbag. You're the scum of the earth because you're
what's
going
always
back on
the
your word.
excuse? What's always the excuse? I'm not happy. I'm not happy, so I did this terrible thing to you.
Yeah, massages didn't work, yoga didn't work, but
You're
yeah.
not making me happy, so I made myself happy. That's always the excuse.
And that goes back to being empty because
Yes.
true joy and true happiness comes from serving other people. And when you see the joy on other people's faces with you serving them, then it's like, oh, great.
Exactly.
Love that. But no, not
But
for
of
them.
course, what's the line? Do what serves me.
It's all about me.
It's all about me. Narcissistic culture.
But then that's how you end up lonely and
Yes.
the total opposite of happiness
Yes.
because you're alone now.
Because these aren't long-term solutions to your problem. They're
No.
not. And you're going to wonder how you got here. Well, because every decision you made was for
about
you.
you.
Yeah.
Wake up, people. Wake up. Okay.
Yes. Come on. Come on. Go deeper. Go deeper. Because this isn't it. Giving into your base desires like this is not it. Don't let your mind get you in trouble.
All right, so let's take a look before we close. It says, I thought it was fascinating that Nikki said her affairs made her more confident at work. The sexier she felt, the less she cared about what her colleagues thought of her. Is that something you heard from other women? Constantly. We heard it from every single woman that we interviewed, and that was one of the things that blew my mind. What type of women were they getting?
Exactly. That's what I
All
was
of them
thinking.
said it made them more confident in every single aspect of their life, from work to their marriage. It's like, oh, because I got with John down the road, I'm more confident in our marriage and I could actually function. It's like, no.
That doesn't-
Like, if you're going through like a rough spat in any relationship, you should just work through it. The solution's not to go and literally cheat on the other person.
There's such a lack of empathy now
Right.
about how your actions can affect other people.
No, that's real. And so most women told me that they think the affair has improved their marriage. Really, it made them happier. It's made them more confident in the bedroom with their spouse because they felt like they could ask for what they wanted and they knew how to enjoy themselves a little bit better. I talked to a lot of women who say just the act of thinking about an affair, maybe putting themselves out there on sites like Ashley Madison, made them feel more confident because it made them feel more desired again.
Why
if
not
you're,
just go ahead?
if you're not feeling desired, go talk to your husband about
Tell
that.
your man.
The thing about it, it kind of goes back to what we were saying in the last segment about how the newness is just easier. And so I understand the thought process of, okay, I can get this new man and do all these new things with him because we have no history and it's more exciting. Whereas with this man I've been with for 30 years, we have a routine. We're kind of stuck this way. Neither one of us probably put in any real effort anymore. If I ask him to do something sexually, he may not even want to do it. So now, because I did this affair, I have the confidence to bring that feeling into this marriage now. And that's kind of what I believe is the mindset behind that. And it's still ridiculous because at the end of the day, when it comes to marriage, your job is to continue to make it new. Because at the end of the day, you're people and you're going to get tired of each other. Because now
But you got to figure
you're
out how to
one.
relate with people beyond the tiredness and the monotony that
Yes.
sets in. Because that actually shows more character and you're more multidimensional. Like you're
Yes.
actually a fuller person when you're able to push through that and to work through things and overcome things rather than saying, oh, this didn't work out. All right, screw that.
Like,
I'm on
I'm
to the next
bored.
thing.
Easy
next
thing.
one, I'm
Right.
bored.
That's the problem with everything in our society is, oh, we get bored of it, we trash it, and we get something else. That's kind of the problem with this consumerist mentality is that, okay, all right, I've had enough of you. On to you.
Yep.
I've had enough of you. Yeah. No, I already had you. All right. I want a different flavor.
Exactly.
But what happens when you run out of flavors?
Yeah.
Because there's only but so many
Or-
flavors, and then they just start mixing a bunch of stuff together that's
Or you
Doesn't-
can't even
has
get
no
another
business.
flavor. It's not allowed to you anymore. You can't even get it offered to you anymore.
That is so true.
Yeah. So Maxo writes, that is not it. Maxo writes, just music hasn't been the same like it used to be in general. Now it's like, what is the next trend? And that's what they want to follow to promote sin. If you give a sin an inch, it will give you a mile.
That's right.
No, that's
good.
I would play, like people would be like, "Oh yeah, let Prophet do the aux or whatever," because I just was always in love with music. I have just know a lot of different genres and appreciate all aspects of music. But now it's like when I hear something new, I'm like, "Dang, I heard this song a couple years ago
Yep.
from a guy with a slightly different name. He had a little in front of his name, just like this guy does too." Or, I mean, even pop music is just kind of the same old
That's where I'm at now.
recycled stuff. And it's good to have like nostalgic sounds, but when you are copying the same cadence and singing the same pitch, you don't differentiate yourself
Yeah.
from anybody else. And so a lot of the music that you hear now is going stale, which is why you appreciate when people like Kendrick Lamar comes out or like a J. Cole, people like that, because they bring a brand new dynamic and dimension and depth to the musical experience and the listening experience to the actual art. And so you don't even necessarily have to agree with what they're saying, but because their music is speaking in a more artistic way, you can actually appreciate it. Because
Exactly.
it feels like, oh, they actually took the time and their heart is actually in this, rather than their eyes fixed on the dollar amount that
Yup.
they may receive, which that's the kind of the travesty of just the whole music industry in general, and how like all these big companies do things for profit over doing things to be for the social good.
Yep.
But then they often have these social corporate responsibility, departments and, like foundations and stuff to make them appear good.
Yeah.
But their intentions are actually evil in nature. So, here's the final sip. Self-care is displaying good character, discipline, and integrity to yourself, because how you treat yourself bleeds into how you treat others. It will always bleed into how you treat others. It will always bleed into your mentality of how you go about just attacking things in your daily life. And so if you haven't and are constantly trying to improve your discipline, trying to improve the character of who you are, and making sure you're a person of good character when you're by yourself, of
Yeah.
course, you're going to end up like Ariana Grande, because the word on the street is she has no remorse for what she's done. So I hope she learns.
Me too.
And I hope you learn to stay with us, because when we come back, we're going to be talking about degenerates attempting, but not succeeding, to twerk on a pastor. So stay locked in to Quality